Okay, so again, what we're going to be going over today is our Reading Partners Connects platform. It's our online tutoring platform. We're very excited to have it here in Colorado and expand our reach. So to get started, if you have your chat open, I'm going to chat in the link to Reading Partners Connects. If this is something you're going to be tutoring in this year, you'll want to bookmark this link or save it as a favorite. That's how you'll access your account even after setup will be from this page. So yeah, if I can just get a quick thumbs up, Patricia, if you once you get that link up, great. So I am going to share my screen. And Patricia, some of these next steps I'm about to show, you're not going to be able to necessarily follow along because I don't think you'll have an account yet. So you can just watch and not have to do some of the stuff I'm doing. But yeah, so let me dive in. So, um, sorry, Rating Partners, a million tabs open always. It's not what I wanted to do. Okay, so we're at our login page. So as a new user, what will happen is you will get an email, maybe from Kaylee and somebody else from the continuing education department, confirming you're scheduled to tutor. Here's your program coordinator, and they'll pass you off to your coordinator. And your coordinator will then let you know what times they have you slotted for. And then we'll send you your login information. And that will be this page here. Your login information is going to be whatever email address you set up your Reading Partners account with. So whatever one you're getting emails through from Reading Partners, if it's a new account for you, it'll be the one that you put on your application when signing up to be a volunteer. It'll be the same email here. So right now, what you would do as a new user would be to click register. You would enter the email address again that you used when applying to volunteer with Reading Partners. Your username, so this cannot be your email address. So like if I were to put in Josh Ehrlich at readingpartners.org for my email, your username can't be your email address. So I may just make it joshua.ehrlich, or Joshua Ehrlich, sorry, can't have the periods in it, and just not have the email address part that may be taken. So 2-1. I don't think we have enough users, so that'll be a problem yet. But you will create a unique username to go along with your email address. Selecting your time zone, this is important. So that way when you're in your tutor dashboard, you're getting an accurate time for when your session is going to start. So just wanting to make sure you select Mountain Standard Time there. And then you will enter your password. Once that's done, you'll click the register button down here. I don't have anything in, so I can't do it. And you will then be registered. So you would then go back to your login screen once registered, put in the username you use. So you see it's not my email address. Click continue. You would then type in your password and log in. So when you get to that register screen, if you were to click the register button and it were to say there's no account associated with this email address, that would mean that you haven't been set up as a Reading Partners Connects user. So all you would need to do at that point is reach out to your coordinator. Hey, it's saying I don't have an account. Quick click of a button, and we would get back to you and say you're good to go from here. Is this all making sense so far, Patricia? Good.
Yes.
So as you can see, once you're in your dashboard, you can see it'll take you, your home screen will be where your scheduled sessions are. You may have a bunch. So if you're with one student every single week on Mondays at the same time, you might see up to 5, 10. You can select how many, but you can see all your sessions listed here. Right now, we just have one. You can see where we have our demo student, or student's name. Wouldn't be a demo at that point, it'd be a real one, but yes, demo student here is the student name. Tells them the date. The tutor start time is 8:35, and then the student start time is 9:05. So what this means is if your tutoring session, like today was at 9:05, we're 6 minutes over, but that will let us hop in. So your tutoring session actually starts at 9:05. That is when we'll get the student on camera for you, and we'll show you what that looks like. 8:35 is when you can go in and view and join your lesson so you can start going through some of the materials and just be available in the session. The student cannot join the session until you are in the session. So you can jump in and join at 8:35 and be preparing just so you're ready for your student. You also have the option, and again, please feel free to raise a hand, anything, if I'm going too quickly. If you do have an option too, to not join the session, or if the session wasn't available like it is now, where you can go in and preview your session. And you can do this up to 24 hours beforehand. And so right here, if you click the little eyeball, it will open up a preview of the actual lesson you're going to be doing today. So click out real quick. You can see our upcoming lesson for today is BR4. And then if I click the preview button, you can see we start in the lesson. So Patricia, you've done our traditional tutoring. The Connects platform follows the structure of a traditional tutoring session. So the first part of that, and again, I'll dive into more specifics around the Tutor Read Aloud library. Just want to go over what the sequence of this is. So first part, same as a Reading Partners traditional lesson. You'll begin with a 10-minute tutor read aloud. So you'll have a tutor read aloud library here to select from. And you can scroll through our books. And then you can also select curriculum levels and categories up here. And again, I'll dive a little bit more into this tutor read aloud section once I go into the actual lesson. Here you can see the agenda. So again, very similar, exact to our traditional curriculum. The stuff in the blue, text you read. And just so you know, Caitlin, I'm off screen right now. So if Patricia does have any questions, shout out and I'll stop. But yeah, so we have our blue text here. So same thing again as our traditional lesson. I'd be reading it to the student. So here's what we're going to do today. First, I'll read a story to you. Then we'll learn the sounds for the letters F, C, and H. Next, we'll practice sounding out and reading different words, so on and so forth. So again, identical to the traditional where you'll use the blue text as a script to read to your student. We'll continue along. We'll have a word analysis skill. So today they're going to learn the sounds for the letters F, C, and H. It gives you instructions of what to do. So point under the uppercase F and the lowercase f. Our next part is our word analysis. So it says, let's practice. Say each sound as I underline it. Again, when I get in the lesson, I'll show you this part. There are some interactive tools to use so you can underline what you're talking about and the student can see it. Then there's a little game where they can practice the skill we're doing and earn some stars for it. We then go into our sight words. So we have 3 new words we're learning today. And then we start getting into the part of the lesson where we're getting into the book. So we're introducing a fluency, a comprehension skill. And for this one, it's understanding that English words may have more than one meaning and using words in the sentence and other clues to decide the meaning of the word. And then we get into the student read aloud. And this will be where the student will be reading to you. And again, I'll dive into this in the lesson. But as you can see, we can turn our pages here. Maybe a little bit hard to see on your screen, but again, I'll dive into that. They'll do their student read aloud, and these would be the same books, very similar for the most part. Some of them are the exact same to our books that we are using in the actual traditional curriculum. So then once they finish reading their book, we would go into our fluency part of the lesson. This is when they will do the rereading of the book on a time to see how many words they can get in a minute and practice our fluency. And then again, we'll have a final round where they'll be able to collect some more stars, testing our comprehension skill. And then that would be it, and you would finish your lesson. So you can go through and view any of this up to 24 hours before your lesson to prepare. And then again, if your student was ready, you could join the session and go in and get ready. So I am going to just stop real quick and just see if we have.
Sorry, Josh, you're on mute.
I haven't been this whole time, have I?
No, it just started. You're good.
Okay, good. Great. So yeah. So when you log in, this is what your screen will look like. So then you scroll to the right and you'll have this blue join session button. This will not be open until the actual start time of your, or sorry, until your tutor start time starts. So you can join your session. So yeah, the important thing to do first when you join your session is down here, something like Zoom or Google Meets, is you'll have some buttons down here. You can see my microphone is on. If it wasn't, we would have our little cross through here. So we just want to make sure our microphone is on. And then you'll want to turn on your camera. So in the lesson, you would see yourself down here as the tutor. And if the student was logged in with us, they would have their camera on up here. The program coordinator at the center would get this set up and they would join you. Right now, we just have a blank screen. So yes, you would be in your lesson with your student. A good thing to do, and as I said, I'd talk to you about some of the Tutor Read Aloud library. When you're in the Tutor Read Aloud library, get a couple of books in mind ahead of the lesson. As you know, it already takes students sometimes a very long time to pick out what they want to read. And there's just a lot of scrolling, a lot of choices here. So just having a choice can really help. But that can be stuff you dive into with your coordinator. I really just want to show the logistical parts of this. So yeah, you would select a book. So as I said, you can select through curriculum level or categories. If you knew the book you were looking for, you could search it. One thing I do want to call out, so let's select advancing readers and let's try sports. Yeah. So right now, our online inventory of books is pretty limited. It's something we're working on expanding, but there isn't a huge variety. So you'll see here when I selected sports, there's no books here. There's nothing wrong with your computer. It just means there's nothing available in that topic area. So like if I select nature and plants, we're not getting much. Let's see, biography. So yeah, we get to biographies and we have some categories here. So another reason why it's just important to prep, just so you know what books you have available and we're not clicking through with some categories where we may not have options. And again, you can always just stick in the all option. Another important thing to call out here is, let's click on a full moon rising. So when you're in the book, you can turn the page. And there's two things I want to call out. First of all, on the computer screen, so this is what you will see as a tutor. Unless you're using the drawing tools, which you don't have available, if you're trying to highlight something with your mouse, the student is not seeing your mouse on the other screen. So when we're saying like point to something, it can be helpful to kind of like point or guide the direction you're going. Because again, they won't see your mouse. So we scroll through, we can click to turn the pages here. And one of the things you'll notice, and it's not just because I'm sharing a screen, this text here is super, super small. It's really hard to read. Yeah. So what we'll do is over here on the left, we have our magnifying glasses. And I will click our zoom in one. It's not quite enough, so I'm going to zoom in again. As you see, you can just keep clicking zoom until it's at the right magnification for you. As you can see, we're off center here. So if you just click on the book and then use your fingers to scroll over while holding down the click, you can get to the parts of the pages you want to see. And so here we could read to our student. and scroll through. And again, the important thing is for the student to zoom in on their text, they would need to use these magnification options too. So if your student needed to zoom in on the text, which they may need for some of our the text that they're reading with you, they would need to be using their zoom function as well.
Josh, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Do you mind clarifying again just how do you point at something on the screen? You said if the mouse doesn't show up.
Yeah, so you'll just kind of have to point with your fingers kind of in the direction where you want them to look.
Okay.
If you're not drawing.
Thank you.
So we will have finished our read aloud. So when you're done, and you may not get through the whole thing, and that's perfectly fine and expected for a lot of these books. We'll get into tutor notes. But one of the things that will be important for your tutor notes is to leave where you left off in the book. If some of them will have page numbers, so you could just say, what book did we pick? The Full Moon is Rising. Sorry about that. And you could say you were on page, let's just use this one, 3, for example. Or if it doesn't have this is a terrible page I picked because there's no words on it. So let me get one where there is. Yeah, so if it didn't, I apologize for that. If it didn't have a page number on it, then you could just use your title here. Either way, it's just something for tutor notes and not super integral right now. So you would stop your tutor read aloud, and then you would get into your agenda. And again, we're going to go over the stuff, read the stuff in blue directly to the student. And now that we're into our lesson, you can also see we have our tools bar here. So to turn on use for this, and it's important to note too, this will turn on use for the student to use. Again, important to highlight because sometimes the students will want to play around with some of these things as you're going through the lesson. So you can toggle it on and off if it's becoming distracting. You just click the bar here and now it's on. So if there is something I wanted to show our student in the lesson, I could click our tool here to write and I could circle it. I can get rid of things. Oops. Sorry, with that X. So I can circle things with the marker. You also have some shapes you can use. And this is when the star part of the lesson, and you come and get stars. And any of the stuff, once it appears on the page, you just click on it, and then you can drag it to where you want it to go. So again, if there's anything you're trying to show the student in the lesson, you can use our little tools over here. I'm going to clear that out for now. So again, today we're going to learn the letters for the sound F, C, and H. Point under the uppercase F and lowercase f. And here's where we could use our tool. Oh, it turned off, sorry. And so if I wanted to highlight it, so we're going to use the uppercase F, lowercase f. And we can continue to the next part of our lesson. Throw little arrows down here. So now we're going to do the letter C. Same thing if you wanted to use your tools. You can turn on your screen here. And the letter H. So go through, underline. And so now sound it out. So say each letter as I underline it. So we can go through F, F, C, D, D, so on and so forth. And then you could also use it, maybe they said B here. You could circle a letter and know that you need to come back to that one. So now we're at collect our stars. So now we're going to review. For every right answer, you will get a star. Let's see if you can get 3. What letter has the sound? And this is where the student would be using the collaboration tool. And you would turn it on, and then they would click to have a star, and they may put it here, and you'll see it on your screen when you put the star on, and you'll say, that's great. Or maybe they put it here. Like, okay, that's great, but actually, it was this sound here we were looking for. And if you want to avoid confusion, so say your student's using an orange star, you can change the color of your icon. So you can distinguish between what's yours and what's the student's. Totally up to you how you want to do that. But again, then we can clear that out. We would get into our sight words section. So they're going to have 3 new sight words. You'll have them read through. Again, if you want to, if it's helpful, doesn't say to do it, but you could underline as you go through. So we finish this section. We'll go into our next one. Some more sight words. We're going to go over that comprehension skill before we start our lesson. And then the student reading the book. So once you're at the book page, you will turn the pages. Student will need to turn when they're ready to go too. So is Cam a fan? And again, if you need to zoom in to see, you can. And as you see, as you turn the pages, the zoom stays. If you need to zoom back out, you can click here or refresh just to start at the 100% zoom. We would read through our book. And again, as you see, we don't have our collaboration tools over here, just our zoom function. We would get to the end of the book. And then again, we would do our fluency where they will practice 3 times rereading the book. Another situation to earn some more stars. Again, some comprehension questions you would ask and an opportunity for you and student to put some stars on the screen. Now we have a wrap up and tells you to congratulate your student for a hard work and tell them something they did really well. And so there's a couple things here. So one, if we're at the end of the session, and I should have highlighted this beforehand too. If we're at the end of the session and say you finish early, or you're just, finish right around time and your coordinator may not be aware that you're ready to be finished, you can click this help button down here. And that'll send a help request to both your coordinator, the program coordinator that's at the center, and anybody who's a regional admin. So myself as a manager, if you send out a help request and your coordinator's not around, I will get that too. So I can come in and help you if I'm available. Do give them a second. But yeah, if there's any point of the lesson where, like, again, when we're at our, let's go back to collect our stars and our students struggling with how to put the star on the screen, quick help request, and that'll tell your coordinator to jump in. They'll appear on camera and be there to help you, but also a way to let them know you are wrapping up the session. They'll get a notification when you finish. So when you're done, right here, we can click this. We have our icons, and you'll want to make sure to hang up. So click the phone button and end our session. So when you end your session, you'll see you're going to get into our tutor notes section. So it says the session date, the duration, and it should say your name. If not, please do let your coordinator know. You would enter the tutor read aloud. Once again, I'm blanking on it. I should have logged that in my memory, but you'd put the title in there. I would put no. Again, you could put the page number or the title of the page you left off on. The curriculum level it was in. Upcoming lesson. So we finished BR4. We're going to do BR5 now. And it may be you finished only into BR4 up through sight words. So our next one would be collect your stars. But we're just going to say we finished our lesson, BR5. And we're going to start at the very beginning. Click continue. So again, similar with the exact same, as traditional tutoring, we're going to want you to make notes at the end. What went well in today's session? And any challenges or recommendations for next time. Hopefully you would have more specific notes than these for your tutors. These are not helpful. And then you will list some understanding of the skills. So our understanding of the word analysis skill, they could do it independently with tutor support. They could not apply it with tutor support, or you didn't get into that. So we would make our selection there. our comprehension skill at the end. We continue to scroll. How is your student reading today during the student read aloud? Independently with tutor support, student had difficulty reading, or again, you didn't get that step. And their level of engagement. Once you've entered that all in, as you saw before I clicked that, or maybe you didn't notice my icon was gray, and now it's orange, so I can finish my lesson. You are required to do those tutor notes at the end. So this will be very helpful for your tutor who comes into a session, because then you can come in and view their tutor notes as well before your session, see what you need to work on, see what's not going well, and what to be prepared for this lesson. So I am going to stop sharing my screen. Before I do, real quick, I do want to show, so we have showed you how you can view your upcoming lesson. Let's say you either want to be super prepared and or like, okay, I know I'm with this first grader this week who's in beginning readers. Next week, my coordinator mentioned they're going to have me with a third grader. They don't know who it is. They're most likely going to be in advancing readers too. I'm curious what that's going to look like. So without a session, you wouldn't be able to do that. But over here with our sidebar, you can click on our lesson library, click on lessons, and then you can go into any curriculum level and start previewing the lessons in the same way by clicking on the curriculum level you would like. And then the eye icon over here to preview the lesson. Again, it's going to start in our tutor read aloud library, agenda, comprehension, and so on. And then to click out of any of these screens, now you're not seeing a little X bar here. You can literally just click on the side of the screen to get out. And then you can also view any of the books in our tutor read aloud library as well, if you wanted to view any of the books before the lesson to prepare. So now I'm going to stop sharing and open the floor for any questions. And Patricia, we can't hear you, so if you want to chat it, if you have any, if you're feeling okay. I know like this is a lot. So also what I do want to call out is just like knowing the basics of login and how to access your account is the really essential part. And then getting into the lesson, if you can do those three things, as I showed you, we have that help button where somebody can just help you through the lesson. If you need it for the first one, we can have the coordinator actually sit in the lesson the whole time to kind of guide you through those points. So this isn't where I'm expecting Josh showed me this. I remember it all, and I'm good to go run a full lesson with no help at all. So if you do have any questions now, let me know. Or if you think, I'll wait and see how it is when I'm in the platform.